She said, she'll take me anywhere, she'll take me anywhere, as long as she stays with me. She said, she'll take me anywhere, she'll take me anywhere, as long as I stay queen. Kiss, kiss Molly's lips, kiss, kiss Molly's lips, kiss, kiss Molly's lips, kiss, kiss Molly's lips. Hey Amy, Matt here, and I know Summerslam is coming up fairly soon, and I thought, well, I did some reviews for the Royal Rumble once again. I did reviews for WrestleMania once again, so I thought, alright, let's talk about this. I don't know how many I'm going to do this year. In fact, yeah, I'm not even sure if I should retire not do this anymore, just because I've talked about it to death now. I've talked about this the first time and only time, I guess, in 2017, so I will post that too. But yeah, let's talk about it. I honestly wanted to say something bad about it because from what I remember, I thought it wasn't that good. But let's talk about it. I actually, looking back at it now, is actually pretty cool. So, alright. Let's do it. No pre-show I actually didn't see, but it was Chris Masters defeating the Hurricane with Rosie and Stacy Keibler, or Super Stacy, by the Master Lock. You had the U.S. Championship, Chris Benoit, who defeated Orlando Jordan by the crossface. This was a pretty interesting feud where Benoit won the U.S. title in a few seconds, and then with weeks prior he would compare, let's say he made a cup of coffee in less time than he beat Orlando for the title. So yeah, he won this match. You have the match here of shoot, I would think. And yeah, this was, a little uncomfortable at the time, because it was the first time you saw the lines blur between reality and fantasy, I want to say. Obviously, Matt Hardy was injured. You have Edge and Lita get together after Lita turned on Kane. In reality, Adam Copeland and Amy Dumont were going together. So that got to light. And yeah. So Matt was basically punished a lot for whatever reason. So yeah, this match was interesting. You had a spear from Edge on the outside to Matt, basically beating the shit right out of him, just bloodied him, and that led to referee stoppage and Edge winning. So I don't remember Matt ever beating Edge for a match. It could have happened around this time, but honestly, I just remember Edge winning most of it, so I could be wrong. Obviously, later on, they made amends, so that's cool. I mean, they were best friends before, or friends, rather. I also think, too, that, I guess I'm learning this, but I can't necessarily hold a grudge forever, so. Then, this match. So, I mean, obviously, you're always going to have a match or a feud that doesn't necessarily make sense. And this feud didn't make sense to me, and it still doesn't make sense to me. It's almost 20 years, and it just doesn't make any sense. But I will say this was a good match. I'm referring to the ladder match, aka the custody for Dominic, Rey Mysterio, and Eddie Guerrero. Now, these two guys have wrestled each other in Mexico, ECW, WCW. A majority was WCW and even WWE. Now, Eddie had turned heel once again and basically, did this whole thing. I honestly thought it was in bad taste. Not as bad taste as Braun Strowman teaming with a 10-year-old at WrestleMania 37. But basically, there was this bad taste. So, this was still a very good match, very entertaining. You had a lot of high spots. Both guys are very excellent high flyers, and even Dominic got involved trying to push the ladder down with Eddie on it. Eddie getting in Dominic's face. There was a point where Vicky Mr. Q, and Eddie's just screaming, "Where the fuck is Vicky?" So yeah, she eventually came out. Angie Mysterio came out, and the social worker, I guess. But yeah, Eddie had lost, and Ray ended up getting the custody papers, whatever. They celebrated in the ring, and you know, I think about this now. Let's see what's worse. Dominic's custody thing, wrestle for the custody papers of the ladder match, or the love triangle with Rhea and Liv. Well, Summerslam's next week, so we'll figure out how it's going to end. Then we have this match, the match is for Kurt Angle's Olympic medals. I have no idea how this all started, but I do know, and I do remember Christy Hemme being on the side of Eugene. You know, and given this controversial gimmick that Nick Densmore had, he really played with it, and I honestly, when I first saw it, didn't think it was that offensive. I think, from what I hear, a lot of people with disabilities, like mental disabilities, really looked up to him, and like he kind of represented them, although I don't know, it's a double-edged sword, to be honest. But this was a good match. Obviously, Eugene's the character that's supposed to be a wrestling prodigy, and he tried to do a lot of moves like, you know, emulating Hogan or Rock or whatever. But Kurt Angle did the Olympic Slam and the ankle lock for the win. Hence, he went on the podium in the ring and was presented his gold medals again. So, yeah, there's that. You have Randy Orton versus The Undertaker. Undertaker defeated Randy Orton at WrestleMania 21, and there's history with that there. But this was a good match. Again, Randy played a very good heel as the Legend Killer, and you know, you thought Undertaker was going to win again, but Bob Orton dressed up as a security guy or camera guy. He was in disguise anyways, and he cost Undertaker the match. Randy Orton did the RKO for the win, and yeah. So, I mean, they've had some really good matches that year. Like, they had a Hell in a Cell match that was really good. There was some controversy with that too, so. And you have a WWE title match. John Cena, who defeated Chris Jericho. This was very cool. In my opinion, you have the rocker of Chris Jericho, the rapper of John Cena. They 1 week on Raw, Fozzy performed, and then the next week on Raw you have John Cena. Basically, I can't remember who else was with him, but he also did his own rap thing, and that was really cool in my opinion. It brought those two genres of music together, and I love music, so. But yeah, this was a really good match, and honestly, kind of wish that Chris Jericho would have won. I honestly think that would have been interesting. Not long after this, though, he would leave WWE. It is what it is. So, then you have a no holds barred match for the World Heavyweight title. Batista versus John Bradshaw Layfield JBL. This was actually really good. And you had no idea who was going to win, obviously. It was a close call. And yeah, basically Batista retained the title. I think that it would have been cool. I think John was the World Heavyweight Champion at some point. I will look that up. But yeah, Batista won, retaining. And yeah, there it is. You have the main event. Because, of course, yeah. The two guys that I honestly don't like. I do have respect for one over the other, though. Was Hulk Hogan versus Shawn Michaels. This was a very good feud. I will say that. I think Shawn bringing back his heel persona, which he changed up a little bit just because of his lifestyle. He didn't want to be vulgar, so it was interesting to see him cut a promo in the ring and then have a fake out with Bret Hart's music and all of that, which happened in Montreal, by the way. You know, the whole Larry King Alive thing, that was cool. So this all led up to this. The rumor has it, and I 100% believe that, Hulk Hogan didn't want to lose to Shawn Michaels. So Shawn was like, fuck this noise. And he basically sabotaged the match. Like, he played it up really well, man. You know, Shawn's Shawn, and that was basically it. And at the end of the match, yeah, of course, Hulk Hogan was going to do Hulk Hogan things and did the leg drop. He was still in a crimson mask. He basically, yeah, picked up the win. So they shook hands afterwards, and yeah, I mean, to Shawn's credit, I mean, you have a guy that knew that Hogan wasn't going to lay down for him, no pun intended, and he did his best to make a mockery of it. So, you know, respect for that. All in all, this was not as bad as I remember it, to be honest with you. I think it is a shame that Eddie had his last pay-per-view, like his last Big Four pay-per-view, doing that angle. I think that, yeah, it's okay to do goofy once in a while, I guess, but this didn't make sense to me then, and again, doesn't make sense to me now, so yeah, 19 years later, and I just don't get it. But they did what they did, and this was fine. If I end up doing another review, or re-review rather, because I did do a lot of these in 2017, just go watch it. Yeah, so anyways, talk to you later. Bye.
Anymore. So you know that them cutting WCW was a long time coming. I don't think that's the case at all. If you look at some of his earlier interviews, like